All right, what's up, guys? Zuki here for another episode of the show. I'm joined with Slow Mo. I don't know where Singer is, but to be fair, I did not tell him there would be a show today. It is Saturday, right?
It is Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't tell him there would be a show today, so maybe he was just like, eh. But also, it's late. Well, it's early. We're in different time zones, and he did forget that other week when he was supposed to be here, right? He was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot the show was an hour earlier because you guys changed." So maybe that's why he's not here. Nautica's probably at work. you know, so it is what it is, right? But let me go ahead and
hmm
tweet the show out. So, Slomo, how you been doing, man?
I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. I have been doing all kinds of stuff, buying furniture, moving furniture, getting rid of old furniture. So, my back and my mind are exhausted, but I'm here. So let's do it.
All right, I appreciate you being here.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's go ahead and talk about the Stellar Blade demo because we both ended up playing that. Correct?
Yes.
All right, so Stellar Blade dropped a demo today. This was in lieu of the other demo they had initially dropped that they immediately pulled from the store once they realized they had dropped it, and now they dropped the demo proper. And I must admit, when I was reading some of the previews about how it had deflecting in it and the game was more difficult than folks would probably believe it to be, it actually made me interested. Now, mind you, I'm not like automatically interested in a game if it's difficult. That's not where I'm at personally, but I do like games where you can deflect. I think that's a lot of fun. Sekiro really gave me the push to enjoy that. So I decided to give it a shot, and I must admit, I'm happy I did because I thought it was pretty good. I was actually impressed. I thought it looked good. It played well. There were a couple of moments where I felt my I was pressing the buttons and yet she
Mm.
wasn't moving fast enough for me. So I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just suck, right? But
Oh, you mean like when you're trying to sprint?
no, no, I'm talking about, like, when you try to deflect or dodge. I felt like I would press the
Oh.
button and nothing would happen.
Mm.
So
Me played a little bit more. I thought it was just me missing because I suck at parrying in games. So I just figured I just didn't parry in time. So like I don't know, maybe I need to play it a little bit more and feel like because I played through it and then I did the boss challenge a few times and I just chalked it up to slow mo get good, but maybe there is something more there. So I don't know.
well,
I'll play
yeah,
it a little bit more.
because I also was just like, "Well, maybe I just suck right now." But, like, Crow hit me up and he was like, "Do you feel like there's a little bit of input lag?" And I'm just like, "Okay, so it's not just me. I'm not fucking crazy, right?" So for
Mm,
me, I felt like there were a couple times where I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, and then I was just like, "Well, maybe the parry timing is just different." Like, Sekiro is one of my favorite, games. It's number 2 on my Souls t quote, unquote, "Souls tier list." I'll say from soft list, right? I was
mhm.
very good at that game by the time I finished all of it, right? So, I'm I am into parrying, and then also Thymesia. Is that what that game was called? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Oh wait,
Thymesia,
Samaria,
Thymeria,
whatever it is.
whatever
I
it
know what you
was,
mean.
that one game, that little small indie. Okay, yeah, I said it right.
Mhm.
Thymesia, that had parrying in it as well. Once I got the rhythm of that, I was like, "Okay, this is great." I really enjoyed what I played with that. I think I got to, like, the last boss, but never finished it because I went out of town. But yeah, I really do enjoy that kinda combat, so it was gonna appeal to me because of that. I have, I feel like I'm very different than some people. Oh my god, she's so different, she's so unique. Okay, what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to fan service, it doesn't bother me, I don't really mind you, I grew up watching anime, so when it comes to fan service, I'm just used to this shit, right? But,
Mhm.
fan service in games never it doesn't bother me, right? It doesn't bother me. So, seeing all the fan service with Stellar Blade, I was like, okay, cool. I had no feelings about it. I didn't really care. Plus, I do enjoy good looking characters. I do enjoy attractive characters. Okay, like I like playing
Oh,
with
so
attractive
so
characters.
so you don't feel offended by
Absolutely not. What's there to
okay,
be offended
okay.
by? I feel like
I
the
don't
people who
know.
get
I just
offended, I
mm,
don't know. It's just weird. I feel like the people who get offended are insecure. Either they're insecure with themselves or they're like men trying to appeal to women. And the men who try to appeal to women are the ones that I kind of side eye because I'm just like, I don't really trust your intentions because you're trying to appeal to women so you can get laid. It's just another form of trying to get laid. Okay. Like,
hmm.
regardless of the men who solely appeal to women, I don't know, little skeptical about them.
They're
And
they're
there's a
they're pulling the
very,
Josh Whedon, huh? They're putting
yes, a
pulling the
Joss
Josh
Whedon
Whedon on
is
everybody.
actually
Yeah.
an apt descriptor right there. Apt descriptor, uh, apt comparison. Because Joss Whedon, I fucking love Buffy the Vampire Slayer is fucking awesome. One of my
Great
favorite
show.
shows, honestly, might be top 3 favorite shows, honestly speaking. I can sit and rewatch Buffy multiple times, right? Joss Whedon was hailed as a feminist icon, only to turn out that he was sexually harassing folks, man. He and
Mhm.
that chick who played Glory, allegedly, apparently she fucked her way into the room. Because let me tell you something, season 5 was so goddamn boring. The only
It was.
episode that was like really got to me was the episode where Joyce dies. Yeah, that was the episode that really fucked me up. Like that really got me. The other standout one is the one with Dracula. I thought that was fun. Um, but, like, for the most part, Glory was, like, an uninspired villain, in my opinion. I think they hadn't had any interesting villains since 4, and, listen, 4 was kinda shaky with the villains, so I have to agree. But anyway, moving on from
Yeah.
that, right? Joss Whedon, self-proclaimed feminist, considered a feminist because of, what he achieved with Buffy, and, I won't take that away from him, but the dude was a fucking creep, right? So, like, women aligned men, and you guys know the type I'm talking about, and like the women who are insecure with themselves, I feel like they're the ones who try to advocate and push for like ugly women in games. And I don't really understand it because even when I was severely obese, slugging about, I never thought to myself, like, man, you know what I want to see on my screen? A severely obese, okay looking woman. Like, why would you want to see that? I don't know. That's me, my preference. I didn't want to see any ugly in the face women. I didn't want to see any ugly in the face men. I'm sorry to say, but I like things that are visually appealing to me. Okay? Call me shallow all you want. That is perfectly fine. It's just my preference, right? Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. I'm sure I've played some games that the main character was not physically appealing. Like, I'm sure, right? But it's a nice little bonus, And I like to dress my characters up. I like to make them look cute, right? So anyway, there's a lot of like there's some backlash when it comes to the Stellar Blade stuff, and we'll get into that after we finish discussing our thoughts on the demo. But yeah, so I liked the parrying, and the I like that there is like a training simulation because let me fucking tell you, I was like, I need to spend some time in here because I am not getting the parry window right. I'm not getting the dodge window right. But I did end up beating it. I beat it. I got to the end. I beat the boss. I think I beat him in the second try. Beat him on the second try. And
Me too.
then high five. And then I did the boss challenge mode once and I was like, oh, okay. And like I actually had an easier time parrying in that mode. So I don't know if it's like a power thing where she
It
unlocks
is a little bit of
something.
a power thing. Did you look at your loadout when you did the boss challenge?
No, I didn't look.
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's some default stuff there that's just better than the gear that you have, and when you do the demo with the game save that goes over to the full game. But you could play around with some different abilities, different gear. I forgot what they call a lot of that stuff, but essentially your loadout, you can allow you to really mix and match a bunch of different things. Like you can get damage reduction. You can actually, there is a piece of gear that widens the parry and dodge window a little bit. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot that you can do there, as well as change how much like you could do trade-offs. Like you can trade off some damage reduction for doing more damage to the enemy. And so um I actually found the boss to be uh, slightly more challenging than the boss on the rooftop at the end of the demo. Um, and I mean, I beat him too, but like I started like change playing around with loadouts. I think fought him like maybe like 5 times. I beat him 3 out of the 5 times that I fought him, but it was a little bit. I thought like the last two, I just got clapped, and I was like, all right, well maybe I won't use those use that combination of abilities again. But I'm enjoying the game. I think the game's pretty fun. Outside of just we know what people are here for, right? Like we know this game is the popularity of this title before it comes out is not due to strictly the gameplay. It's due to how the character looks and how I mean game visually looks really good, and then how the character model looks. But all of that doesn't matter if the game sucks. Like you can have a pretty looking character and get a lot of attention, but then when the game comes out, people are going to be like, "Yeah, it plays like trash though." So you're
All
going to get like a
style, no
small
substance. Yeah.
right. It's you'll get a small number of people who'll still rock with it, but for the most part, people are going to move on. And I think with this demo, I mean, Shift Up is a very newish developer from South Korea that's only prior to now done a lot of like, I mean, no surprise here. Um, um, it's not clickbait, but it's titty bait. Okay, like a lot of their games is just you know anime looking characters where the breast size take up like a third of the entire screen. The gameplay looks real mid. Like they made a lot of mobile kind of games like that you see like as you're scrolling on Twitter through a thread, and then you see an ad there. It's like, yeah, that's the kind of games that Shift Up have made in the past. And then this is like kind of like a level up for them, where they're still you doing some of that titty bait, right? But they're also like they built a pretty good game within all of that. Um, I think it's got some near automata in it in terms of the story and its themes. With like you got these clearly machine based, I don't know what you want to call them, androids or whatever, coming from like space stations down to Earth to save humanity from aliens. Like this is yeah, that's definitely the entire theme of like near automata to a degree. If you know early on, that's what you know of it. It's I think the voice acting is pretty decent, and I mean, I'm not super invested in the story, but it's good enough that I can kind of follow along with it and be down with it, just as long as it's not convoluted nonsense that doesn't make any kind of logical sense whatsoever. Then you just kind of just ignore it and play the game. But I thought it was pretty good. I think it was decent um a decent demo to have, and where you kind of introduce as the beginning of the game, and it can move over to the full game. What I'm going to do is run through it again, because I feel like I may have missed some areas to explore that could have got something. Matter of fact, I know for certain when you're going up that like um that escape staircase up
Mhm.
to the top rooftop to fight the final boss. I didn't know I was walking into a boss fight. There was definitely like a door that I couldn't open, like at the lower level, that I saw enemies and stuff in there, and I was like, okay, I can't get in there right now. Maybe I'll go up top and then drop down from a different area, and never got in there. There was another area that had a one of those boxes where you gotta put a code in, that I never went back and got the code put in. So I'm gonna run through it again, so I can I want my game save to go over basically where I've found everything, every nook and cranny there is to find in the beginning parts of the demo before you beat that boss. So, um, good demo. I'm enjoying it.
Sweet. All right. Shout out to Craig with the super chat saying yams, yams. Oh yeah, yams. All right. Yes, because it's got the apt moniker of Stellar Yams. You know what's interesting about this game, is the ire that it's drawing from some people. From some people, the IGN France news outlet, they made a little comment, and then they subsequently edited said comment, and were just kind of made a little took a little shot at gamers, and they were just like, for anyone using the translate option, and let me see if I can find it. Anyone using the translate option, and for like the trolls, I'm just like, alright. They made some comments that I personally found to be amusing, mostly because it's just kinda like, "Well, this is to be expected." Let me go ahead and pull it up, right? I
Mhm.
mean, ultimately, the review, they did talk about the game, but they had to throw this in, right? Um, it's not new, and other games have chosen to highlight the strengths of their female characters, but where a Bayonetta stands out with an iconic character design, or a 2B from Nier Automata inspires an entire generation of cosplayers. Eve from Stellar Blade is just bland, a doll sexualized by someone who's never seen a woman. Mind you, the person she's based off of is a model, and
Mhm.
I feel like she's very close in regards to
Well,
specifications of said
from
model.
the hip up, she's extremely close. She looks just like the model that they used, the real woman from like the hip. I would say from the hips up, but
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the creator's wife, one of the creator's wives, allegedly. But yeah, so it's just kind of like, yeah, because I actually I went and I looked her up because I was curious as to what she looked like, and I'm just like, well, the thing of it is, when people are like, "Oh, these kinds of characters don't exist. These kinds of characters are unrealistic because women don't look like this." There are women who look like that. Specifically, there's a lot of Black women, Latina
Yeah.
women.
Mhm. I
Some
was about
is
to say.
yeah, I know, I know. So I know I'm right
I'm
there with you, buddy. But like,
Hey,
listen,
look, I'm not trying to brag. My wife looked very close to. Let me, look, it's funny because it's like it's always white women who say that, right? It's always white people who say that that's unrealistic, and I'm like, and then you look at what they're saying is unrealistic. You're like, wait, hold up, where are you from? Because it's just like clearly you ain't from where I am, because that's the norm, body type wise. Like, come on now, like who are
yeah,
you talking about? You
it's
clearly talking about just white people.
yeah, it's very indicative of a the thing of it is that people tend to and this is for everyone, people tend to forget that their life experiences are not the same as everyone else's, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Mm-hmm.
because you're used to a certain thing, or you're used to seeing a certain thing, doesn't mean that it's the norm, or it's the end all be all. It just means that it's your reality, you know what I'm saying? It's your perception of reality. So I have seen plenty of women who are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous women, women who have similar body types to Eve. I don't think Eve's body type is exaggerated. I don't think it's out of the ordinary. She's just a good looking chick, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, there are some women who are just like, they're just, I don't know. Again, I feel like it's a insecurity. It's a concept of some self-loathing. And I'm not even saying that as like a mean thing. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it has to be insecurity or self-loathing. Like, this concept of looking at the screen and being like, "Nobody looks like me." Even when I was younger, I never watched TV or movies or anything like that, and again, this is my personal experience, my personal reality, right? I never felt the need to have a character represent me physically or look like me physically. Like, it just never occurred to me. I never cared, right? Um, how the character felt like mentally and emotionally resonated with me far more than how they looked physically. Like, how they looked physically, it's not something I really considered personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody wanting representation for themselves, of course. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But for me personally, it was just like, I it just was not something that ever. really clicked with me, not something I ever really cared about personally. And so for me, when I see people make these kinds of comments, I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, she's a good looking chick who gives a fuck. And this concept, like, okay, yes, obviously objectification is a real thing, obviously, right? But there are bigger issues in the gaming industry, actually. There are far bigger issues in the gaming industry. And I wish that these people would actually focus on those fucking issues instead of goddamn stellar blade tits. Okay? Like that's what I want. And like this well, you're an incel. You're listen, I am an incel. Okay? The actual definition, involuntarily celibate, okay? You know, like nobody wants me. Nobody
Stop
wants
it.
me. So,
Stop it. Move
you
on.
know, so like yeah, for me I'm just kind of like, yeah, I had fun playing the game. Again, I was not interested in it because of how she looked. That was I was like, I don't really care about this. But I do like the gameplay, and I'm looking forward to it because of the gameplay. The demo sold me on the game, which is what a demo is supposed to do. It is supposed to sell you on the game. If
Mhm.
you are sold on a game, then uh your demo is a success. What about you, Slomo? Are you planning on picking this up?
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna play the game. That's why yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go back to the demo so I can catch everything that I missed the first time through. Only played the demo once and I did the boss challenge a few times. But yeah, I'm gonna go back through the demo again so I can find everything there was to find so that the game save I have go over to the full game isn't missing anything. So yeah, definitely playing it.
Sweet. What about y'all in the chat? You guys are picking it up. Let me say hi to folks. Uh what's up, Hero Down Under saying I already bought a physical copy, fully paid. Bless says Firefly. Yes, Firefly. I heard good things about that. Iman says Luca is capping. Listen. Lionel says, you know, that's not true. Listen. Um, Hero Down Under says Luca has the voice to back up the good opinions, balanced opinions. Thank you. Luca has the voice to back up the good, balanced opinions. Thank you. Uh, what's up, Blue Moon? What's up, Saber? What's up, Sly? What's up, Glinser? Tom. I do want to say this. What's up, Tristan? Jenja on the Dawn. What's up, guys? It's good to see y'all. Delta, what's up? Spida, what's up? Corey, what's up? Okay, so I did want to say this. This is the thing that irritates me a lot about this industry is that, and I'm going to talk about something serious, right? I'm going to talk about something serious. So this chick came out and she said that there had been a reports of them drugging folks and spiking the drinks over at GDC. And this is not
Hmm.
the first year that this has happened. This is the second year in a row that it's happened. And someone had told me like this is kind of like a norm where this happens multiple times, multiple years, and GDC is like criticized for not properly protecting its the people who come. Now, me personally, I have said it before and I'll fucking say it again. All right. Why I would never work in this industry. It is a fucking cesspool. It is strange. It has people who do not behave in a manner that I find professional or even understandable because I'm just kind of like, why are you going on your social media saying this stuff? Why are you arguing with people on social media? That kind of thing, right? It's a very strange industry. And then all the like allegations that have come out with all of the abuses, the sexual harassment, the actual assault, the sexism, the racism, homophobia, transphobia, all that stuff, right? I'm just like, yeah, I would just never work in this industry, right? But another thing is, if I did work in this industry, another place you would never fucking catch me is GDC. All right? Another place you would never fucking catch me is GDC. Because why are you going someplace where you know they're drugging people's drinks? You know what I'm saying? Like where it's a guarantee that someone's drink is gonna get fucking spiked. Okay? Why would you go there? Me, like, if I'm a woman in this, I'm not going. I'd be like, oh, y'all are gonna have to go ahead and send somebody else. All right. Now, some of the men from last year had gotten spiked as well, but I'm gonna say it. I'm like, go ahead and send one of my male counterparts. I'm not fucking going. But like, the thing that, like, gets me is that despite the fact that they are, like, spiking folks' drinks allegedly at GDC, there was apparently some police reports filed last year, right? Despite the fact that they're doing that, people are fucking so hyper fixated and focused on arguing with folks on the internet and this quote unquote gamer gators and going back and forth with the anti SJW crowd. That's like the main focus. Even this chick here is like, oh, we're witnessing another Gamergate. Plus drink spiking at industry events. How is that a plus and not the main fucking focus? It's just
Hmm.
like, yeah, Gamergate is really bad. And yeah, they're also spiking people's drinks. They're also doing that. Like real physical danger, right? That people are being put in. And yet the focus, I have seen more of these fucking SJWs and the people who are leading the industry and all the people in the industry. Seen more of the, and again, anecdotal. What I've seen isn't always everything that exists, right? But me personally, I see more of the Gamergate bullshit than I see people talking about folks in the industry actually being put in possible physical danger, possible physical harm. I feel like instead of focusing so much outward and they need to focus more inward. All right, because these companies, the company culture, what happens at these events, what kind of environments people are in that kind of cultivate this kind of like disgusting these disgusting habits, right? I feel like they need to spend more time focusing inward on the cucks at their own company instead of arguing with people on the internet. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
It really kind of reminds me of like how last year how they were in such an uproar about Hogwarts Legacy.
Mhm.
And if you follow the logic of why they had a problem with Hogwarts Legacy, you then kind of go, well, you should have a lot more problems with a lot more games in the industry because the people that like there are the if you follow the money of where certain countries have are financing publishers like Embracer, Capcom, platforms like Nintendo, and yet you're not boycotting any of their games when they're doing real harm to the people that you claim that you're trying to defend. But you seem like very performative that you're just highlighting Hogwarts Legacy and saying, "Oh, I'm just for a game you didn't really care for anyway," right? So it really there is no downside to of this to you to boycott this game, boycott that developer, make a big deal about it, but meanwhile champion the next Nintendo game and champion the next Capcom game when they're being financed by people who are outright doing terrible things to those people. It's funny because it's like you kind of look at this stuff and it's like you're complaining about all this other stuff that isn't really affecting anybody really. It's just internet discourse. But meanwhile, you got zero like issues with real problems going on in the industry where people can't even show up at a conference among their peers and not have to worry about getting roofied and drugged or something. Like what? Like that's a massive issue here. Not at your customer base not liking certain things that you say or do or put in your games, but the people behind the scenes making the games doing things to women that's completely immoral and illegal. But the same people that have a hard on for calling everything Gamergate 2 seem to have zero issues with this, or they just don't want to talk about it. Maybe it is not going to get as many clicks for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I really think shout out to Miko for becoming a member of the channel. Appreciate you. What's up, Bito Clado? But yeah, like it's just very. Oh, what's up, Singer?
What up, what up, what up?
What up? What up? But yeah, it's just
What's
like
up?
really strange to me. And like Saber's like, well, that's in the any industry. I'm talking specifically. First of all, I wouldn't be in any of those other industries. Let's start there. But I'm talking specifically about how with Hollywood was very hush hush, Like we didn't start finding out these things until later. But like in this industry, they're very blatant about how they feel about certain things, you know? And
Mhm.
again, you don't see Hollywood executives arguing arguing with folks other than maybe like James Gunn. He's the only one, right? But he's got his own issues, right? But you don't really see people these people on the internet that arguing with, like, people in these other industries. The people in the other industries will just either block them or have their, management company take care of them. Or they just
Mhm.
completely ignore what people are saying and pretend it doesn't exist, you know? Like Nev Campbell is ignoring folks, but let me not start talking, okay? Anyway, but yeah, so I'm just saying it's like, this just it's a what I mostly find strange about this industry is that people who will have their real names on their accounts, where they work, what their job title is, and then they'll just like start arguing with people on the internet. And I'm just like, why are you arguing with that person? You're not being professional. I feel like people draw unnecessary attention to themselves. Nobody was thinking about you, nobody was talking about you, but you drew attention to yourself, and now you want to cry and complain and bitch about it when you did this to your fucking self. You did it to yourself, you know? And so for me, it's just weird like that the internet discourse makes far more noise than the actual horror that happens in the fucking industry internally. Because again, what the fuck do you mean this is the second year in a row that they're drugging people, that they're spiking people's drinks at GDC?
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that last year. I didn't know that was the case.
It happened last year too. Yeah. What's up, Epic? How you doing, girly?
So I assume, and this is just an assumption, I don't know, but I assume since there was no like arrest of someone, at least I didn't see an arrest of someone drugging people last year, that it's the same people. Because I just don't, I just can't. Maybe I think too much of society where it's not like a whole new group of people, not the people who were doing it last year, who got arrested, put in jail. They're not coming back to GDC, but a new group of people. I'm assuming it's the same group of people. And the fact that if that's the case, well, no wonder they're still doing it because they got away with it and no one did anything. No one stopped them. No one blew the whistle. No one made anything happen, which is typical. Like Saber talked about, this happens in other industries. Well, this is why it continues to happen because we see it in other industries where the bad actors, everyone knows who the bad actors are. Everyone knows how they roll, and yet no one does anything. No one, and if no one does anything, it's not going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's because and think oh my god, it just makes me angrier because these fucking cucks were at GDC "Rah! Yeah," just screaming into the fucking
Yeah,
wind
screaming into the void for no
for
reason.
no reason because of fucking Gamergate and because of industry layoffs. I'm like, okay, I understand the industry layoffs part, the Gamergate stuff, not so much. But like, can y'all scream into the wind at the folks who are spiking people's drinks? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's some the mental disconnect there. And I don't understand it. People are always saying fighting with people on the internet, these people are going to bring me I feel physical harm because I'm arguing with somebody online. I'm like, "No, there's like physical harm in your fucking vicinity. They are trying to assault people at an event that you're going to." So, me personally, you couldn't catch me at these fucking events, dude. I have to
Oh
hear a
man.
bad thing happen once and you will never see me there ever again. So,
It's just like it when I saw the video of those people screaming in like a field, it was like a patch of grass, like a bunch of developers just screaming at the sky. It reminded me of what like toddlers do. The terrible twos, the terrible threes, where like 2, 3 year olds, they don't get their way. They haven't had that proper motivation to cut it out. You know what I mean, right? And so they just start screaming, throwing temper tantrums. You see them in like the grocery store, the kid that just falls out, just goes limp in the middle of the floor. because they didn't get the cereal they wanted, so they're just going to fall out on the floor and make a big scene and embarrass their parent. Like
Mhm.
you're throwing a massive temper tantrum in front of everybody, thinking that's actually going to accomplish anything. All of your bosses are looking at you and laughing because they're not changing anything. Because what they are afraid of is the gamers, one, the actual customers, and the shareholders. Those are the shareholders more than the gamers. But like that's what they're afraid. They don't care about you. You're replaceable, clearly, because that's how they feel since they've laid off like what last year, 7,000 people. And then wait, that's is that accurate? 7,000 last year? Maybe I don't
No,
know. Maybe it may have been 10,000 last year. I think I couldn't hear you, singer.
7,000 this year.
Okay, 7,000 this year. I think it was more last year, but they're laying people off in droves. They do not care about you screaming into the sky. It means nothing to them. That's not that's not doing anything. And if you were screaming into the sky for something that I thought was actually trying to bring attention to a massive issue that's going on, like I don't know, roofing developers at GDC, then I still would have been like, find a better way to bring light to this issue. But at least I wouldn't be laughing at you. But now I'm just laughing at you because you look stupid.
Yeah, it's very strange, and, I'm, like, seeing somebody new in the chat, uh, saying, "Luca, hurry up and go pony, we don't need fake Xbox fans." Who
Who
are
was
you?
that?
Like, I don't know who this is.
Who?
How
What?
why are you here? Like, how did you hear about me? Very strange. Alright.
Wait,
Anyway,
where
what's
is
up,
that?
Cassie? How you it's up. Scroll a little bit up. What's up, Cassie? What's up, Autumn? What's up? How are y'all doing tonight? What's up, Capono? How's it going, buddy? Um, yeah. I don't know. Very strange. I don't know why this person is here. But anyway, moving on from that. So yeah, it's just kind of like I don't know, dude. Fucking weird shit. Me personally, I wouldn't go. I'd be like, no, no, thank you. I'm good. I don't need to go to these kinds of events, dude. GDC is expensive. I'm sure they get covered one way or another, but it's not for me. It's not for me. Again, I have to hear about something bad happening once in an area, and you will never see me in that space again. You know. So all right, let's talk about this Phil Spencer interview. What's up, Tom? All right. So, in light of the Phil Spencer interview, okay, Nintendo Nintendo came out and Nintendo confirms testing layoffs amid first party lull and reports of Switch 2 being delayed. All right. Okay. So, in its statement, Nintendo acknowledged that it's restructuring its internal testing, which will involve some contractor assignments ending, as well as the creation of a significant number of new full time employee positions. For all assignments that are ending, the contractors' agencies with Nintendo support will offer severance packages and provide assistance during their transition. For those contractors associates who will be leaving us, we are grateful for the contributions they made to our business and we extend a heartfelt thank you. So, thanks. According to the contractors in the report, the restructuring comes as the company faces a lull in its testing development. The contractors claim that Nintendo has no new major first party games on the horizon and that no one has had hands on testing the upcoming Switch successor, which was initially rumored to release at 2024. But the official number of contractors impacted by layoffs is unknown. Wow, that is. Four former and current Nintendo testers claimed in Kotaku's report that the restructuring could potentially affect over 100 workers and that those being converted to full time employment are being moved out of software testing. So, Nintendo's restructuring comes off the heel of a slew of industry wide layoffs, including layoffs from major competitors as Sony and Microsoft. So, um, the industry is looking a little rough right now. It's looking a little rough. And Phil Spencer had this interview, right? And he talked about,
That, mhm.
Microsoft having making some different decisions in the future going forward. What's up, Black
Hmm.
Metal saying the industry needs more adults and less children? I agree. Yeah, so this Phil Spencer interview, he talks about the people who have been let go of. Um, he talked at the GDC development. He talked about how making a game has changed from how it was before to how it is now. How it's more expensive, significantly more expensive, and the price of games has not gone up to really match. The cost really reduces the risk that publishers are willing to take. Where previously games needed to sell a few 100,000 units to justify the cost, new games may need to sell millions of units. So if you're a publisher, you know that is a pretty big number in a world that already has a lot of video games coming. How are you going to establish this thing? Am I willing to take the red on a new IP, on a new kind of game, when the earnout risk is that high? I think it impinges. Oh, okay. On the creativity of this industry, which I don't love. Creativity is like the cornerstone of what we should be about in gaming. The cost is particularly prohibitive for exclusives that can only reach so many players. As Spencer explained in our conversation about the perils of exclusivity and the walled garden consoles, these games need to make additional money to justify the console makers subsidizing the cost of the console. As Spencer explained, the case for exclusivity gets pressured as the cost of the games go up. And according to Spencer, the console market has not grown in the past year. Though Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo consoles continue to sell, Spencer notes that many console gamers are simply upgrading, or to put it another way, they're not new to the market and will not contribute to growth. And without new customers, everybody else's customer is your success state. You can't succeed unless you draw in customers from other publishers and other platforms. And because you're not finding new customers with the games that you're building, everybody's kind of fighting over the same size pie. So I say all this to say this: Microsoft plans on putting more games on the PlayStation and Switch, right? He said that he's doing this because it's for the growth of Xbox, and the focus is on the Gen Z players. The Gen Z players, they play their games on the phone, they play their games on their tablets. Um, TikTok is a big thing with Gen Z. I myself also enjoy TikTok, I must admit. So he is trying to reach a younger audience and gain relevance with a younger audience, and he believes that putting and this is a additional point. It's not the same point. And he believes that pushing more games to be on other platforms may be beneficial in the long run in terms of sustainability for the company. And Microsoft is what, like a software company, right? At the end of the day,
Yes.
so
Hmm.
maybe that's the thinking there. They do plan on coming out with another Xbox. They do plan on coming out with another. Well, this handheld, like the concept of them creating a handheld makes sense if they are trying to push and market to Gen Z. But then again, I mean, again, Gen Zers are playing on their phones and they're playing on tablets. You know what I'm saying? I don't really s- see handhelds out and about. And I remember growing up, like I had a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy SP, Nintendo DS Lite, Nintendo 3DS XL. Like I had all those, right? And I would go to, I'd see other kids and they would have their handhelds too. Like I don't really see the Switch like out and about, you know what I'm saying? Um and I don't really, but then again, I am not in spaces where I'm around a lot of children. In the spaces I was around children, I was doing some volunteer work with some boys aged 13 to 15, helping young black boys get into tech, right? Um when I was speaking to them, they spoke to me about how they played Call of Duty and Madden and Fortnite. Call of Duty, Madden, and Fortnite. Those are the games that the boys were telling me about. All the boys I interviewed and the ones that mentioned playing video games, those are the three games they mentioned playing. They didn't mention anything about handheld games. So there's that too. But it's just something to think about.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
All right. Still isn't wrong. Now, I had now this brings a point to Colin Moriarty and Jez Corden had a podcast, right? I advise you to check it out because intelligent people who can see where the industry is going, right? And Colin, he is he's a PlayStation guy through and through. But they made some key points, and a few of the key points was the actual number of players hasn't grown. It's been around 300 million. Like it hasn't shot up above that. no matter which generation you look at, you count how many consoles were sold every single generation, it will all come under that 300 million. It will never go above it. Even the PS2, that's the peak. So it's there, and it's just not growing. So how do you get the growth? Well, you need to go to other places because there's only a certain number of people. It's never growing. So therefore, you need to go elsewhere. That brings us to they both unanimously agreed. Day and date will come to PlayStation, even their single player games. Day and date to PC will come because their profit margin is the way it is right now. They want a bear margin. The only way you're doing that is PC. But then that also brings around to the mobile situation. Mobile makes more money than consoles anyway. But so if you want more growth, you need to be putting your games on mobile as well. So your games need to be going everywhere at some point in order to make the biggest bang for your buck. Now, Xbox was forced into this situation because of how terrible they were doing. But PlayStation will make the choice to do that because they need to keep the profit margins going. So he is not wrong on a lot of his accounts. He's actually speaking a lot of facts, even though people, don't really want to believe it. And the point about the Epic Game Store, and because that was also in there, the Epic Game Store and Steam might be coming to Xbox. That is really, really good idea because there's some games on there that you wouldn't get if they managed to pull that off. Plus, Steam already showed you doing that with the Steam Deck. Steam Deck gets all of PlayStation's games, all of Xbox's games, and all the games in between. So that's already there, showing you the blueprint. And going into a small modular design, consoles will still be there, but not in. It's theorized that they might just be server blades because it's going to get to the point where everyone's just going to be like small handhelds. So it makes sense Xbox making a handheld. I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation reveal their handheld next year, right? And Nintendo is already a handheld, and you have the Steam Deck, so it's like the ROG Ally.
Mhm.
Like you have a whole. It's becoming way more. Let's make a handheld because they understand the kids growing up now. They're playing games on their phone and iPads. They're not. A lot of the new ones coming up now. They're more than happy to play Fortnite on their phone, or Call of Duty on their phone, or Genshin Impact, or whatever have you. So how do you get these people into the gaming space? Because they're probably never going to get a console because all they're doing is playing on their phone and tablet all the time. So it's an interesting dynamic that's going on, and he spoke a lot of facts. So
Okay. Real quick, real quick. Dwayne said he graduated from high school 2 years ago, and the Switch was fairly popular during his time there. Okay, and then let me get this big dono from Face23 BKNY saying, "I'm tired of hearing it's not growing. Xbox ain't growing. That's why Xbox is putting their games on rival platforms. Why Sony and Nintendo ain't putting their games on Xbox. So when is Sony putting their single player games on PC day one?" I personally, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it, especially with the big donation. Going to use that money to buy stellar yams. Okay. I personally think putting your games day and date on PC is a mistake. Um, I've I as a consumer, it's great, right? As a consumer, it's great. But like for me, it didn't make sense business wise because it's like it just didn't make any sense business wise for me, you know? Unless they don't care about how many games sell on Xbox and it's just how many copies the game sells, generally speaking.
no,
Or
as Hiroki Totoki said, he's not happy with the profit margins. Like the price of these games are just going up and up. Now, do you think the PlayStation 5 will outsell the PS4? Okay, maybe. Will it outsell the PS2? No. Did the PS4 outsell the PS2? Did the PS3 outsell the PS2? So where's this growth? Where's this magical growth? Where are all these extra
The
players?
Nintendo Switch is going to outsell the PS2.
Even if it maybe does, you add up the PS4, the PS2, and Xbox One, all in the same generation, still comes under 300 million. So how'd you get about this 300 million? Even if you outsell the PS2.
So I think I think that's an oversimplification. And I think that those too many syllables for me. All right, I'm surprised I survived saying it, but I
Me
do
when I
think that's
say
the case. I think Phil Spencer is he's giving you some accurate information, but not everything he's saying is accurate. For example, the console market isn't growing. That's actually not accurate. The console market isn't growing as much as the mobile market and as much as the PC market, but it is still growing. It's just growing at a smaller clip. It took me 10 seconds to Google gaming console market growth, and I got an article from December from Yahoo Finance that says the gaming console market, with a valuation of 22.9 billion in 2022, is projected to reach 34.9 billion by 2030, experiencing a compound annual growth rate of 5.1% during the forecast period of 2023 to 2030. And it showed that there was growth from 2018 to from 2018 to 2022. So there has been growth in the console market. It's just not, it's very small margins, which when you have a hardware format that appeals more to a older generation of gamer than the younger generation, that makes sense. But the whole it's not growing, let's be for real here, okay? That's an argument that works for Nintendo. That's an argument that works for Sony. That is not an argument that works for Xbox. Because even in this market where it's quote unquote not growing, you're not hitting every generation you come on, you are ending with less consoles sold than the previous generation. People not rocking with you. Nintendo about to have their most successful console ever. PlayStation is on par. PlayStation 5 is on par with PlayStation 4. They can say, well, PlayStation can say there's no growth. Nintendo would beg to differ. But what they're doing isn't what you're doing. When in Europe, you're down negative 47% on hardware sales year over year. They can't complain about the things that their competitors are complaining about, which is also why their competitors aren't doing what they're doing. Like we ain't gonna see Mario on a PlayStation or Xbox. I guarantee you that. I am not a psychic. I am not a market analyst, but I got eyes, and I've been a gamer for long enough to know Nintendo don't care. And they understand branding. This is what I said last week about Xbox and Microsoft being a profitability company, a productivity company that has made their bones on products that didn't need to be marketed and don't have any brand power, brand image, because they don't need that. People need Microsoft Office, people need Windows, people need Azure for work stuff. And they don't care about the brand. When it comes to actually marketing a brand, doing things that actually show that you care about the markets and the cultures that you are trying to get your product sold in, Microsoft has traditionally sucked at that. And they still suck at it now with Xbox. I'm not trying to be mean. I grew up loving Xbox. This isn't a Slow-Mo's hating on Xbox moment. This is a Slow-Mo's being real moment. Let's just be real here. They are doing these things they feel they need to. And the people who are making these decisions at Xbox right now to put their very games that they claimed that they were doing for you, the Xbox gamer, to make it exclusive for you, as now they're putting them everywhere. And now Phil Spencer's out here trying to redefine what exclusive means. The people who are making these decisions don't understand how to make brands work. And if this Xbox handheld comes out, if they really wanted to be successful, maybe don't call it Xbox. Call it something else. I don't know, the Riz box. I don't care. I don't know.
Riz box?
But
yeah, that would
call
appeal
it
to Gen
Xbox.
Z.
Yeah, right. Like, I just don't call it Xbox, because as far as Xbox reputations are concerned, and Luca, maybe you know this or not, when I work with youth in sports all the time, and when they don't talk about Xbox, and if I mention Xbox, they call it the old man box. It's the old man video game. It's not for them,
God,
and
we're
they're not
so
even
fucking old.
checking. They're not even checking for it. So if you want them to check for something, market it as a whole new thing that, hey, did you hear about this? Whatever. It's like a Switch, but it's more powerful and it actually plays Call of Duty. Maybe they'll pay attention. But as soon as you say the words Xbox, it goes whoa, 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 right after that.
Hey,
They don't
Slummer,
care. Yes.
few problems there. The argument isn't monetary, it's growing. The argument is players, it's growing. Now, with the budgets growing, you have to sell. So 300 million, then it'll go up to 350 million, then it'll go up to 400 million. If you have the same amount of players to sell to, how would you recoup the cash, right? So you have to recoup the money somehow, because your current install base is good, fine and all, but if you don't do better than 140 million like you did with the PS4, or whatever it was, 120 million, right? So you now need to sell the same game that costs way more than what it cost in the PS4 gen to a smaller amount of people. Like, currently they have what, 60 million consoles, right? They release a 250, 300 million game right now. That's those 50 million people. Let's say 10% buy the game, right? Because we know exclusives don't sell to the entire base. So you could say you have 60 million. In reality, only about what, 10, 50 million are going to buy the game on average. So how do you recoup the cost? You need to get the cost from somewhere, because the budgets are going up and only a certain amount of people are buying your exclusives. So you have to put your game somewhere to recoup the cost. And that's the argument of those PlayStation games will come to PC. People said they would never come to PC. They will come day and date to PC because they'll need to make the money back somehow. And on the Xbox is completely stupid in the way they're doing stuff right now. So I 100% agree with you on that. But the argument was never financially growing. It's the amount of players. And we are all older. A lot of the console game, the average age is what? They said it was like 20 or 30 now for console. All these kids growing up, the amount of console players will probably decrease, because kids being born now are playing games on their phones and pads. So in 10 years, by the time they grow up to get a console, they might even want a console. So you're going to lose players even. It's not going to grow, the amount of console players.
Look, I'm not against them doing this hybrid handheld Switch kind of thing. I think that's a good idea to help that. But what I am against is them putting their exclusive games on rival consoles within that segment of the gaming market. I am against that, because I feel like that's counterintuitive to selling the Xbox brand. It's counterintuitive to their next piece of hardware, which is a handheld. Because if I already own a PS5 Pro or a Switch 2, which will be out before this device comes out, and you have given me the impression that the games that or make your platform unique, make it that are different, that I can't find anywhere else, are here, but they're also going there, whether it's 6 months later, a year later, they can't control that narrative, and we already know they suck at marketing. So it's just like they're not going to be able to convince people to get an Xbox handheld for these games when those games are going to be on other devices. Shoot, Call of Duty is going to start being on the Switch too. So that's another feather in their hat that they could have held, compared to Switch, that they're not going to have anymore.
But it makes sense.
Just real quick, when I was talking about what Phil Spencer is trying to convince people of, like, the handheld stuff, I don't have no problem with that. Like, make that if you want. Just you better take care of, I think, your home base, because you can't, like, it's counterintuitive to lose people to try to gain other people. It's counterintuitive to lose the Gen X's to gain the Gen Ys. I'm sorry, the Gen Zs. Like, that's not smart business, in my opinion. And so you either need to have this handheld and also have a traditional console, kind of like how they did two SKUs, or you need to make sure that this hybrid handheld traditional console setup like the Switch is far more powerful when it's docked than the Switch is. Maybe put an eGPU in the dock to make it work better. Regardless, like, my issue is that the market isn't growing. That's why we're putting our games on PlayStation and Nintendo. Does not work when you are not in a vacuum. The market, quote unquote, isn't growing. Which like I use data. Money is what you care about. Is it growing in money? Like, forget the numbers. Are people paying more? Fine. But if you're claiming this is why we're putting our games on other platforms, why are your rival companies not doing the same for you? And frankly, it would be okay if PlayStation was putting Spider-Man 3 on the Xbox and Wolverine and Venom, though they're all coming to Xbox. If the next if Fire Emblem is going to go to Xbox, but none of that's happening. You can't be the only pacifist in the middle of a battlefield because you're the only ones that are going to get shot up.
But what happens if there isn't a battlefield? Because they've already told you the direction they're going. You don't reach 3 billion gamers by not putting your games on PlayStation and Nintendo. You cannot achieve it. It is a physical impossibility. They want their games. They told you, we want our games everywhere. Every screen is an Xbox, right? Now, think of Microsoft.
That's not true, though.
No. But
just because they say stuff doesn't mean it's true. Every screen is an Xbox. No, it's not.
No. But the thing is, you look at Satya Nadella when he took charge. He is a purely software guy. He doesn't care about the hardware for the most part. Because you think of the big breadwinners in Microsoft's direction. 365, absolutely everywhere. Windows, absolutely everywhere. It doesn't matter what product it is.
These are productivity markets, though.
But if you care about the money, you want to make the most money possible, right? So at what point do they flick over from, okay, the hardware really isn't working, let's just focus on getting the software everywhere and make the biggest amount of money as possible?
That's short-term thinking, though, Singer. It doesn't take into account the damage that you're doing to the hardware that you still sell. I mean, they actively go out there and tell people that when they put Xbox or Game Pass or whatever they did, xCloud, they put it on Samsung smart TVs. They actually used it in their marketing. You don't need an Xbox. That's stupid when you have a product to sell. Why would you market you don't need our product? Like, that's crazy.
But that's the thing. But then again, they've always thought about this. Think back to Minecraft. Minecraft is everywhere. They kept it everywhere. Boom. They showed you what they were planning since buying Minecraft. Why would you pick up Call of Duty, all of Activision's games? You pick it all up. All of it's multiplat. All the games have started to go multi-plat now.
Singer, you're talking about IP that was multi-plat before they bought it. Not IP. They could have, but they didn't.
If they cared about selling their hardware.
They would sell more hardware if they would have made them exclusive, but they chose. Look, I think there's a negative image that can be made of you if you are forcibly removing games that were already out and running and selling on other platforms when you acquire it. I think it was a smart move to keep Minecraft on PlayStation. The smart move for them to not. They had no choice. The regulators weren't going to let them own Call of Duty while snatching it off of PlayStation. But even if none of that was the case, they still decided to keep it on PlayStation, fine. Because the negative look on you for doing that from people would you don't want that lasting effect. But that's different than games that are exclusive to your platform, and then now you're putting those games on the competition. Those games did not exist on PlayStation and Nintendo, and now you were putting them on PlayStation and Nintendo. That's different than you acquire Minecraft, which is already over there, and you just keep it there. Those are two different things, Singer.
Okay, so
Yeah,
before he replies, I gotta get these super chats, man.
Okay, go on.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Clifton, my guy saying just got the ROG Ally. Oh, did you get the Z1 Extreme? That's what the better one is called, right? Slow?
Say again.
Z1 Extreme? Is that what the better ROG
Yes, the
Ally is
Z1
called?
Extreme is like the $700 ROG Ally. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming he got the more expensive one because he likes to buy the better hardware typically. But Clifton says just got the ROG Ally. That thing nice. I threw my Steam Deck on the floor like Andy did to Woody. That joint dookie in comparison. That's awesome, dude. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know what games you're going to play on it. Shout out to Craig, the tech guy, saying shift up. Okay. Adding one hand game mode to Celeblade. I don't know what folks would do with their free hand. Shout out to Craig, man. Shout out to Phase 23 BKNY again with the big dono. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. Saying Sony is following Xbox. There's no day and date games on their subscription. Sony is not putting games on Xbox. Sony is not doing day and date single player games on PC. People keep saying Sony is doing the same as Xbox, and that's true. He's right. They're not doing the same thing as Xbox. I also think them putting their I think them putting the games day one in Game Pass. Well, great for me as a consumer. I think it hurts their sales overall, but that's just my opinion. Go ahead, Singer.
The thing with that is they're not doing it right now, day and date with PC. It's going to happen. Write it down. Mark it down. Bookmark this. Take a clip.
You think Totoki is going to stay and be the one?
Yes, because he is not happy with the. That's why he came in and threw Bungie under the bus.
You think they're going to get rid of Bungie?
I think they
might.
Well, they're going to be owning Bungie. They already own Bungie, but they're going to be running Bungie before this year is up.
Yeah, like
that's almost a guarantee at this point. That board of directors that Bungie has is going to get dissolved, and there's just going to be just a board full of Sony executives once the final shape fails to meet revenue expectations.
Because
then it's a wrap.
Yeah,
it's going to fail. But it doesn't matter how good it is. It's not going to happen.
That's the thing. Hiroki told you. He's straight up. He's like, they're great creators, but they don't know shit about business. And it's like, well, I mean, Hiroki's right, because he's probably sat there. He's the main money cruncher. He's second in command to Yoshida at Sony, so top of the top. And he is not happy with the margins. Now, how do you improve them? Well, you're selling all the consoles you could sell. Your exclusives are doing what they're going to do, but they've always done that. It's not like they're Nintendo exclusives. So it's how do you increase the margins? Well, he's got to find another way. And that's why in that slide, he was exploring PC and he was exploring mobile. And remember the people who said PlayStation games will never come to PC? And then they came to PC? They're coming day and date to PC. The writing's on the wall. You could see it. Hiroki told you that. He didn't explicitly say it, but he basically said it. So it's coming. And everyone seems to be in agreement. Like Colin, Jez, all these people, everyone on Sacred Symbols. Clearly, not non-biased in any way. But they're all like, it's coming. It's going to happen. We don't like it, but it's the approach Sony's going to take. So that's just what it's going to be.
So, okay, to make this simple, Slow-Mo, do you think Sony's going to put their games day and date on PC in the future?
Eventually, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I think they like where they have it now, where live service, because clearly we know for a fact, we have evidence that the majority of Helldivers 2's success and the number of players that are playing it concurrently are on Steam, on PC. They are looking at that and like, yeah, that's what we wanted. That's what we expected when we said we were going to do this live service day and day on PC. We want those players. If the game is fire and it hits, we see how the PC market reacts to that, and for those kind of games, if you look at like a lot of the higher overall like concurrent numbers for all the different segments of the market, mobile and PC have higher numbers of gamers playing these kind of games than the console market does. Um, um, Bobby Kodak at the hearings with FTC broke down the percentages. We found out that the PC market has more people playing Call of Duty combined than PlayStation and Xbox combined. Like, this is where the numbers are. This is where you got 1 million concurrent players playing League of Legends, Valorant, all those Riot games. Riot is curb stomping everybody else in live service games, and they haven't put a single game on the console market. So if you're going to go live service, you absolutely have to pay attention to the PC market. Ignoring it is basically saying you don't want your game to be successful.
And
Now, now the whole single player thing, though, it's different. We've seen with the way they use PC that is additive to what they're doing on the PlayStation. And when you got games that are like very close to breaking even, their release on PC pushes them over to becoming profitable. We saw that with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We see this with like through the Insomniac leaks, that the most successful when it comes to return on investment games that Insomniac has released since being like right before being acquired with Spider-Man 2018, and then since being acquired, have been Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2018. And both of those had very good releases on PC. And we see that additional return on investment there, that porting those games over to PC, it's not cheap, but it's cheaper than what it is of the actual development of the game on PlayStation. And then that's why they can get a game that only sells like 2 million on PC and still be happy with that, because the return on investment is so much larger than where it was before. That becomes a bit different dynamic when you gotta make them all day and date. How do you do that? Because like the way Xbox does that is that they rarely use like a Nixus the way PlayStation has Nixus to do their ports. Xbox has their own studios do the PC port in-house. If you don't have the numbers for that, how do you transition developers into making that a part of their development cycle? Like currently right now, they're set up to develop this game solely on one platform and then give it to a port studio who is experts at putting stuff on PC to then take that product, make it work, put it in DX12, make sure all the features are popping, and then get that game ready to go on PC. Because when you don't do that, you get The Last of Us Part 1, which is a half Naughty Dog dropping the ball because they don't know what they're doing on PC, and them using a trash port studio in Iron Galaxy to guide Naughty Dog down all the wrong avenues. It's just, if you're going to do this, do it right. And I don't think they're set up right now to do their single player games day and date on PC right. So until they get there, they're not going to touch it. I think where they are right now, they're happy with it.
Yeah, see, I agree. But it's less when the new console generation starts, don't be surprised if they start doing it, because unless they do something about the budgets, and the budget in the AAA gaming space just keeps going up because we keep hearing about the budgets. Like, I'm sure GTA 6's budget is unbelievably massive. And games are only going to get bigger. Well, then, I mean, you're going to have to think about putting it on PC, because you think about Riot Games, as you brought up, 145 million active players a month on League of Legends, 50 million on Valorant, 20 million on Legends of Runeterra, their card game. Guess what? They still put them all on mobile anyway. Why? Because they needed more people. You ain't gonna get it on console, but you'll damn sure get it on mobile. So even a company that's knocking out of the park live service wise, they were like, "Yeah, we need more money. PC is we've tapped out PC. So where can we go? Well, let's go mobile. No point in going console, Because sure, yeah, you could put it on console, but are you really gonna compete with the stuff on console, or do you just go straight to mobile, which has millions and millions more players? So even
But
Riot
but
went that way.
but then you also got to look at, like, there are these situations, like, for example, Mihoyo, who that does the Genshin Impact game,
Honkai Star Rail.
Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero's coming.
Mhm.
Those games skip Xbox, but they are available everywhere else.
True,
They
because
continue to keep skipping Xbox, and
true.
they're on mobile, they're on PC through Epic Game Store. They don't go to Steam, and they are fine skipping Xbox. We will start to see, due to I'm sorry to say it for people who are staunch Xbox defenders, but Phil Spencer's decisions, that you'll see that continue, where the real big games, the real big live service games that everyone's enjoying, that 30% cut of the microtransactions, they're not showing up on Xbox. For what? Why port it over there? You don't even keep your games exclusive on this platform. Even you put your games on PlayStation. So why should I put my game on your platform?
Exactly, and that's the problem Xbox is going to face with their current. But they're chasing the dollar bill at this point. They're not chasing. As I agree that their main metric for success is monthly active users, because that's all they mention is monthly active users. You look at any metric, the only thing that comes out of Xbox's mouth at any point in time, not console sales, Game Pass subs, nope, they won't tell you that. But they'll damn sure tell you about the monthly active users every chance they get. And they'll come up with like 100 million plus whatever. And this monthly active user thing is their measuring stick, because this seems to be what they always bring up. They never bring up how many consoles they sold, because it'd be embarrassing. So they're like, well, we could talk about monthly active users because that's what we really care about. Because I noticed that when they put out a thing for how well 365 is doing in the investors call, they were like, yeah, 365 has this many monthly active users. So it's like, okay, so that's their key metric. So I guess they're going, well, if we put our games over there, we get them to sign into Xbox, that's a monthly active user. Boom, we win. I don't know. It's whatever over there. But Genshin Impact and all them, of course, would skip it because there's what, 20 million Xboxes. You're going to get like maybe a million players, perhaps, at the best. So what's the point in porting over there when you could just put it on PlayStation, Nintendo, mobile, and PC, where you're actually getting some players? So yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense why you skip Xbox, and more people will do it.
I'll be right
But
back.
going multi-platform just seems to be the way to recoup cost. And so you've got to recoup costs somehow. And even the people who make massive amounts of money and aren't in hardware, they go into mobile. Why is everyone going to mobile? Because everyone likes more money. PlayStation likes more money, and they're not happy with the profit margins. 8%. That's what he said their margins are at. You damn sure Sony ain't happy with 8%. They want more. So that's it.
All right. Shout out to Clifton with the super chat saying, "Dread it, run from it. Day and date arrives all the same, and now it's close. Thank you, Daddy Sony." All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there in terms of day and date. I don't know. I'm not sure about a lot of things. Things have changed so much over the last 5 years. Things that like I never could have imagined. You know, people switch sides. I never imagined would switch sides. The narrative changed, like you also said. Sony putting their games on PC at all, that was a shock to me when it actually happened. So it's just kind of like you just never really know what's going to happen when it comes to this industry. I do think that they are spending way too much money making these games, and I guess I don't really understand why they're spending so much money. There must be something I'm missing, right? Which makes sense because I don't work in this industry, right? But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like curious to see what comes from this. You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
yeah.
all that mocap and pretty graphics come at a cost. Like it costs money to rent out the mocap stuff and or do it, and like The Last of Us, you're like Horizon, you're like, wow, that's mega pretty. Yeah, but think about the amount of money you had to spend to do it. Why do you think the budget of Nintendo's games is so low, and why they make such margins? Because Zelda Breath of the Wild doesn't look like Horizon Zero Dawn or any Horizon or a lot of PlayStation's exclusives. It's clearly not a banger looking game, but that keeps the cost down. And of course, they sell gangbusters, they make a boatload of money. So,
Yeah, Nintendo's IPs have staying power, though. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And they don't have much competition because Nintendo doesn't get a lot of the third party Xbox and PlayStation get.
Mm-hmm.
So the first party is the main driving force. Nintendo has the complete opposite problem of Xbox and PlayStation because they have to rely on their first party to sell because a lot of third party won't come natively. You might get a cloud version or something. Like we've seen that before, but so it's but their games look a certain way, and you're like, well, they're not graphically intense, yeah, but they sell mega gangbusters and make a boatload of money. So, do you like your pretty visuals, or do you want to make a whole bunch of money? And Nintendo found out that, well, making games like these makes us the most money. So, GG. So you're never gonna get a God of War looking game on Nintendo. Costs too much money.
Okay. I feel like we beat this topic to death. Are you guys good in the chat with moving on to another topic, to the last topic before we get to this the member topics and the skedaddle? You know, yes, I'm gonna assume so. All right, so Singer, if you don't want to comment on this, I completely understand, right? But if you do want to comment on it, I understand as well. All right. We're gonna talk about this Black gamer girls drama that's been going on Twitter. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, like I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know how this started. I don't know how it became such a big thing. It started with the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, mind you. That person, Chris, whatever their last name is, brought all of this attention to themselves, right? Nobody was thinking about them. Nobody was talking about Sweet Baby Inc. Except for like Griffin Gaming. He was the only one I saw talking about this, right? Anecdotal, of course, right? But it's just like they brought whatever, brought attention to themselves, right? Brought attention to themselves. And subsequently drew more ire and vitriol towards himself while also expressing it as well, you know? And I've been watching Law and Order SVU and I giggle. I've been giggling, I'm not gonna lie. Every time they do like the whole libtard, liberal cuck, Antifa, all this shit, man, you can tell what year this show was fucking filmed, right? And I laugh because I'm just like, this shit is just so ridiculous. Like, people are not like this in real life. But then I come online and I see that, yes, people are actually like this online. There's all of this vitriol and back and forth online. And a lot of the times, it didn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be a back and forth. And yet somehow it becomes a big thing. Black gamer girls have been like existing for quite some time. For quite some time. You know, they were part of, here we go. They were part of the Forspoken. They consulted on Forspoken. Now people keep bringing up them consulting on Forspoken like it's supposed to mean anything. It doesn't, because when it comes to that game, the diversity aspect was the least of that game's fucking problems. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that from what people. It was because people didn't like the dialogue and people did not like the fact that the game was not running well for some folks, right? That was the biggest issues when it came to that particular game. I even saw folks talk about how Frey does not speak about her race, and it's not a main driving point of her character. So Frey being black and them consulting on that game doesn't mean anything other than me kind of scratching my head, because apparently Frey has kind of a sketchy background, very a stereotypical background. She's a criminal. All right.
Yeah, the first time you see her, she's in court.
She's a fucking criminal with a deadbeat father. Okay, like really?
Right. that who's not there. Like, matter of fact, I don't think it's been a while since I played it and I beat it and the DLC, but I don't think I saw any black males in this game whatsoever. So I thought that was odd, but yeah, there's a whole plot hole. It's been a while since the game been out, so if you, no one cares that this is a spoiler,
We're
really. But
spoiling it though for Forspoken for anyone who might want to play. So
her mother sent her from that world to our world, and she was supposed to be she was supposed to be sending her to her father to take care of her as a baby, and she ended up being left somewhere in like a tunnel somewhere in New York and being an orphan for the rest of her life. So like at no point did they ever show her father. I don't know if that was supposed to be like something that like we were supposed to see or know more about him in a sequel or another DLC or whatever, but like because there likely won't be a sequel to Forspoken, it's just a massive plot hole. So like there's a lot of story issues there that don't make any sense. Gameplay wise, I enjoyed it, but when it comes to performance, Luca, it performed like trash on PlayStation,
mhm.
and at launch it performed like trash on PC. It got better with updates, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, like I said, people keep bringing up the fact that they worked on Forspoken to be like some kind of gotcha. I'm like, again, diversity was the least of that game's fucking problems. Okay. Least of that game's problems. So it's like a non issue for me. I don't take that in mind. But, um, Soma, do you want to talk about your experience with black girl gamers, black gamer girls, your thoughts on them? Because I think you heard about them before I did.
Yeah, I heard about them before. I remember, like, I think they had a bit of a presence on Twitch, for like a long time ago. I'm not like really like fully up on them, but I didn't think I've never heard anyone really talk anything negative about them like that. I thought they just promoting. I thought just black content creators and trying to push platforms for black content creators. Mostly when I first saw them, they were really trying to help how Twitch seemed to be ignoring all the black content creators they had that were really good on their platform. And that's when I first noticed them. Outside of that, like I don't really know much about them.
yeah. Well, so they exist, and what what brought me to their attention is that okay, so I'll go ahead and share the first tweet I saw of them is that they were addressing some concerns, right? Some allegations published by this website called That Park Place, another website I've never fucking heard of, right? But about discriminatory hiring practices that is within black girl gamers. These claims are false and were made without prior fact checking or verification from us or our reps. Black girl gamers operate as a contracting organization that collaborates with both freelancers and content creators from all backgrounds to work on various projects and initiatives to amplify underrepresented voices in gaming and make the community more exclusive. Sorry, inclusive. That was a fucking Freudian slip. My bad. Inclusive. Contrary to the allegations in the article, Black Girl Gamers has contracted freelancers of all races, gender, sexual orientations, religions, and ethnic backgrounds. We have also included representation of all genders and backgrounds in our content, at our events, in our marketing, consultations, and research projects, some of which are not publicly disclosed due to NDAs. Evidence demonstrating our commitment to diversity and inclusion, including our non discriminatory hiring practices, is readily available and easily searchable. Upon discovering these false and defamatory allegations, we have taken steps to obtain legal counsel to take action against the publication and journalists, as well as the subsequent content creators who have reshared the false allegations about our organization. We will continue to pursue further action against anyone who persists in spreading false and defamatory information about Black Girl Gamers, its founder, and its contractors and partners. We value the talent and contributions of all our collaborators, and we are committed to continuing to do so. Thank you to our community for the ongoing support. All right, here's my thing. This isn't going to end well for them. Okay, it's just not. Um, the fact that they're like, okay, we attain legal counsel and we're going to go after the publication and the journalists and the content creators who reshared the false allegations. I'm like, dude, strike the content creators. You're not going to fucking get them on that. Okay? Content creators, all they do is fucking read off a screen. Some of them are far more creative. than I, of course, far more creative than I, right? And they have the sub count to showcase that. But for the most part, like some of the people they're speaking on, they're content creators who read shit off a screen and offer their perspective, right? Like whether or not it's true, they're just reading what's there, right? Now, of course, when it comes to certain content creators, there's an agenda being pushed, absolutely. But there's agenda being pushed in all aspects, in all realms of existing on this platform and attempting to spread your message and make content, right? So this like, okay, we're gonna take legal action against the content creators. That shit's not gonna fucking work. It's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I feel like this is a scare tactic on their end because they don't want people talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Um, Slomo, you got anything to say?
Nah. I mean, yeah. Let me.
Are
I
you
got.
not paying attention again?
I got distracted. I sent you why I got distracted. I bet. Also, look at the private chat. I do, let me say this right. I do not mind any organization saying that the things that people are saying about us is false and defamatory, and we will take legal action against you if you keep opening your mouth and talking that talk. I got no problem against that whatsoever, because that to me is like, all right, put your money where your mouth is. Is it real? Is it true? Okay, well, you'll win this lawsuit, won't you? If it's not, you better go ahead and watch your mouth, because I saw the young lady that was speaking ill against Black girl gamers, and
Gothics?
it's hmm, yeah, and I saw the banner on her Twitter profile, and I was like, bruh, like this you you really saying this, and this is your banner, like. Nah, I think I think what you're saying is kind of cap. Like, and honestly, like, even though they clap back like this, I don't even think it was necessary. I know, understand the climate, like, and there's people who are going hard against Sweet Baby, and people might try to like blend in some of the hate that Sweet Baby Incorporated is getting with Black girl gamers, but
Mhm.
when someone like if someone is like out here talking nonsense about you, and all people gotta do within 5 seconds is look at them and what they're saying and go, yeah, I don't quite believe that. Because I mean, you're telling on yourself. It's like sometimes silence is just as effective than having to go out and defend yourself. But hey, if you about that business, then go ahead. Like, if you want to keep talking, we can take you to court about it. Let's
Bro,
go.
take them to court to lose.
You think Black girl gamers would lose in court?
Yeah, I think they're gonna lose in court. It is
Maybe I
difficult.
wasn't paying.
It's difficult to prove defamation.
Well, if she say have specific like situations that she brought up? If those things aren't true, then I
What,
think you got a bigger case.
Gothics?
Yeah.
They're not just speaking about Gothics though. They're talking about content creators plural.
Oh, well, maybe I am a little bit further behind than I.
You're just not paying attention. Okay. All right. What's up, Steel
Why?
Rain?
Why it gotta be like that?
Because you're not paying attention. No. But anyway, moving on from that, they're not gonna win this. If they're trying to go after content creators in general, like the ones who they're just not gonna win. They're not gonna win that aspect of it. Maybe they might have something against the publication. Maybe. But like these publications spread fucking false news all the time, fake news all the time. Literally, look at fucking. Let me not get started on mainstream media, but mainstream media literally lies all the fucking time, all the fucking time. And there are never any fucking consequences. So I'm just like, all right, we'll see what happens there. But I don't think that they have a case. It is very difficult to prove defamation. And if they plan on going after multiple people, that's not going to work out. Now, Gothics, I think Gothics, I don't like her. All right. I think she's full of shit. and she sounds just like Alyssa Mercante, whatever that chick's name is, who was like, I infiltrated the SBI detected Discord group, and I saw and like all this bullshit, and then I got kicked out by them. Gothix was saying the same bullshit. She was like, I was kicked out of Black Girl Gamers. They didn't accept me. I'm like, yeah, you sound just like Alyssa Mercante complaining about not being accepted in a group that doesn't fucking want you. All right. I'm going to say this. I think you are a loser if you want to try and join a group that doesn't want anything to do with you. All right. You're a fucking loser. I'm sorry. Like, I think you're a loser. But anyway, when it comes to their work practices, if they are discriminating against people, they're not supposed to do this. So I don't have an issue with them coming out and saying we're not discriminating against people. That's like literally it's against the law. Them coming out and saying that was the right thing to say. But then the add-on on, okay, we're gonna sue y'all. I'm just like, oh fucking hell, dude. All right, cool. We'll see what happens there, right? Which I don't think is gonna go anywhere. Now, on another note, Grums, who I follow him on fucking TikTok, Twitter. I follow him on Twitter, right? And he's all like, Black Girl Gamers has a private community group called Black Girl Gamers, where unless you're black and a girl and a gamer, they won't let you in the group. And I'm just like, really? You don't say. Black gamer girls,
Duh.
Black Girl Gamers, whatever the fuck their name is, right? Isn't gonna let you in unless you're black, a gamer, and a girl, right? Like, I'm very shocked by a group that has the name, like their name, right? Black gamer girls, Black Girl
It's pretty
Gamers,
funny.
whatever their name is only having people who are black and female and gamers, right? What a fucking shock. Now, I don't have an issue with this, and let me tell you why. It is a private community group. They do not have to include anybody they don't want to include. All right? It's a personal private group. It's not their workplace. It's a fucking community group. So if they don't want to include anybody else, that's whatever. Now, I saw other people saying, well, what if we make white guy gamers? Okay, go ahead. I saw some people getting upset about. I don't care. If you want to go and make a community group called White Guy Gamers, then go ahead and do that. Who gives a fuck, right? Because it's a private community group. You can do whatever you want. Now, I will say this because people are like, well, if a white guy did this, if a white person did, let me tell you something. White men are not going to do something like this. It would never cross their mind to do something like this because why would they? In so many avenues, being white and being a guy is considered the default when it comes to media. So there would never be a thought where it's like, I'm going to highlight my gender. I'm going to highlight my race, because that is not the first thought that comes to mind when it comes to white guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, they wouldn't do that. But when it comes to other groups, that's why there's groups where it's like girl gamers, because there is a specification there. You are a girl, you are a gamer. And I'm talking about girl gamers in general. The amount of, let me tell you something. I was invited to do a podcast because I was a girl, and only because I was a girl. They specifically said, we want you to join our podcast as a full member because you are a girl. All right. They said that without knowing anything else about me. And this was like back when I first joined this community. The first podcast I was on, I was invited to be on solely because I am a girl. And that's it. Right. So there are groups like that. And it's kind of like, okay, cool, whatever. Right. Just like there's the Asian gamer groups or Latino gamer groups. Like there's plenty of communities like that, plenty of clubs like that have a specific focus. All right. Again, if it is a general community, a private community, and it is not related to actual work, if it's not an actual job position, that's fine. It's whatever. They don't need to include you. And again, if you want to make a group saying straight white guy gamers, go ahead. I don't have a problem with it. It does not bother me personally. I don't care. It's like, okay, cool. That is what it is. And it's like, I'm thinking about it, like, if this had happened the opposite way, people it's the same thing. There would be people being like, "Oh, this is so fucking racist," and blah blah blah. And she's like, "Who gives a fuck? It's their own private group. If they want to have their own private group, it does not matter as long as they are not breaking the law. They're not breaking the law. Stop trying to be places you're not wanted." All right. I learned this several years ago when I was in a Discord where literally somebody said that Should I even repeat this shit? Let me go ahead and fucking put this in the chat. All right. I'm gonna put it in the chat because it's so vile. I can't even fucking verbally repeat it. Someone said, I'm saying it in the chat. Someone said that about me, right? While I was in there. And I was just like, that was such a vile, disgusting thing to say, right? And it's like when I was in there, I tried to argue with these people, I tried to reason with them, but it was very clear that I was not fucking wanted. And especially with comments like that not being challenged at all, people just laughed, you know. So after that experience, I was like, you know what? I am not wanted here. And that's fine. I don't need to be here. I don't need to see what these people have to say about me. They want their own little group and they want to say whatever they want in their group and they want to do whatever they want in their group. I am not included. I am not invited. That is fine. It's whatever. I don't feel the need to be included or invited to anywhere where people don't fucking want me. It reminds me of like there's like this skit I watched where it's like a couple goes to a restaurant and it's very clear that the restaurant is fucking racist, right? And yet they stay there. They stay there and they try to prove a point to themselves and prove a point to the audience in which, whoa, we're customers like everyone else. So yeah, we're gonna stay despite being treated terribly. And I'm just like, why would you stay, subject yourself to that kind of behavior, and give them your money? Are you insane? Why would you pay people who fucking despise you? Why would you be someplace where people don't fucking want you to be there? Especially if it's in your private time, your personal time, and it has nothing to do with your fucking job. You are willingly subjecting yourself and trying to push yourself to be included in groups that do not want you. And I will never understand it. And I will never fucking whine and bitch and complain about not being included. I'm not a fucking loser who begs for the attention of people. Okay? But that's just me. It's just me. That's why, again, I think Alyssa Mercante is a fucking loser for deliberately going into that group trying to, ooh, I'm gonna find something out. I'm gonna see what's going on in this SBI detective group, and I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, like just disingenuous, right? She knows what she did. Just like first of all, Gothix has a very specific kind of channel, right? She went in there specifically having her whatever her mentality is, whatever her ideals are, which are the complete opposite of what black girl gamers are trying to achieve. And then she fucking cries about being kicked out. You're a fucking loser, okay? Alyssa Mercante, loser. Gothix, loser. You're losers, all right? I will never understand these people crying, just whining and crying. This is a fucking, if people don't want you around, fucking leave. Oh, we have to prove a point and we gotta show them that we're here and no one can stop us. And did it. I'm like, dude, you're trying to argue with people online, trolls online. You don't know who they are. They mean nothing. They don't affect your life one way or another. So you sitting here fucking arguing with them is completely fucking pointless. It's completely pointless. You're wasting your time. That's why I see Alyssa Mercante arguing with folks. I'm like, girl, get the fuck off social media. Get off Twitter. They don't like you. People don't fucking like you. Stop engaging with these people, dude. You put a target on yourself. That Kelly chick from Microsoft, she put a target on herself. All right, she's been jumped before. You know, people got on her ass before. And then she deliberately goes out of her way to put a target on herself. Why? Because you want to be a part of the conversation? What? I don't get it, man. She seems like a nice lady, but she did this to herself. And then she had to make her account private. This is what these people do. They fucking go out there, they put a target on themselves, and then they make their account private. What, you didn't know what was going to happen on the internet? You didn't know that people weren't going to like what you had to say and go at you and verbally accost you? You didn't know that? Really? Wow. And then I saw Grums earlier. Grums is like, I'm feeling really exhausted, guys, like, mentally about all this. I'm like, yo, you don't fucking say. Wow, you don't say. You spend all this time going back and forth with people and posting your shit and getting into arguments with people, and you feel tired mentally. You didn't know that was going to happen. You didn't know that people going at you was going to maybe hurt your feelings. People are posting pictures of Grum making fun of him. And he's all like, yeah, they are hypocrites. Absolutely. The whole looks don't matter crowd, making fun of how he looks. I agree with that. But at the same time, I know that shit hurts. I know he's bothered by it. He is. So it's like being an anti-SJW content creator and being an SJW content creator, yes, it will get you views. Yes, it will get you attention. You will have quote unquote like-minded individuals support you. But once you go down that route and you are fully committed to that route, you have to keep up a certain facade. Take Endymion, for instance. Endymion gets so many fucking viewers, so much support, so much love. Let me tell you something. I was subbed to Endymion, right? I was subbed to him, and I unsubbed to him after that Starfield debacle. And it's not because of his perspective on it, right? It's not because I'm still subbed to people who were like, what's his name? Oh Lord have mercy. Oh, okay, heel versus babyface. I don't know what his other name is, right? They were just like, oh, he was completely 100% in the right. There were people, I'm subbed to people who said that. I don't care. I'm subbed to people who said he was 100% in the wrong. I was like, okay, I am subbed to different people who have different opinions than me. People have the same opinions than me because I like to hear the other side to see if they make any good points, right? I was subbed to Endymion. He makes his perception. He's like, yeah, it's not that really. It's not that big of a deal. Like, as freaking out about that's his name, as freaking out about this, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know why he did that. Right? He makes a video like that, taking a neutral, reasonable stance. Reasonable in my opinion. It's my opinion, right? And then literally the next day, he's all like, "I'm sorry, guys. Uh, I didn't I didn't realize like I should have known better. I shouldn't have gone against him." Yeah, like I got so many people in my comment section who were berating me for going against Az and saying, that I should have just agreed with him and I should have known better. It'll never happen again. And ever since he did that, I'm like, yeah, I'm unsubbing because you don't have any fucking integrity. Okay, you don't have any integrity. Okay, you don't have any sense of self. You've completely sold out for views and for money. All right, and of course, for me personally, even if people disagree with me, I'm not gonna fucking change my mind unless they provide evidence that would it would have to be a matter on where I would need further information and further evidence. But for that particular situation, his perspective, him changing it like he did, and the reason he changed it was because he got fucking backlash is disgusting to me. I can't stand someone who doesn't have any fucking integrity, and I cannot stand people who get bullied by their fucking community into changing their stance. It's disgusting to me. You're pathetic. But and it pisses me off because I'm like, I know this dude is not fucking stupid. Like I decided to listen to another one of his videos, and it's like he was going to the right point, and then he stopped, veered off to the left, and just started sprouting some bullshit. I'm like, oh my god. And again, I want to make it clear. I'm sub to RK Outpost. I'm sub to Young Rippa. I damn, who else am I sub to? I'm sub to Yellow Flash. I'm sub to all three of those guys. I like to hear their perspectives on things. Young Rippa has a different perspective than the other two typically. But and RK Outpost extremely conservative. I like to listen to his perspective. Yellow Flash, conservative. I listen to his perspective, right? I listen to what is it, Clownfish TV? They're not even fucking conservative, right? So their opinions, I never know what their stance is going to be on something until I listen to the video, right? Now I used to be sub to Vosh, but then it's Vosh, right? Like, the one who hold on, let me just double check. Oh shit. Damn, not my keyboard dying. In the middle of my rant,
Bluetooth keyboard.
it needs okay, there we go. It needs batteries. Oh no, just kidding. So I guess I'm done ranting because I my keyboard's fucking dead. Okay, I'm done. All I'm saying is like I just feel very strongly about this. Like, stop begging to be a part of shit, dude. It's for losers. All right. It's for losers. That's just my personal opinion. Um, just like I will never beg for the approval of a man, and I will never beg for the approval of a white person. It's just not gonna happen. But I also wouldn't beg for approval from people of my own gender or people of my own race. You don't need to fucking approve of me. All right. I am my own person, and I feel very strongly about certain things. I am strong in my convictions, and I don't have an issue admitting when I'm wrong, but you better come with a damn good argument if you wanna try and get on my ass and get me to change my mind. A damn good argument that does not have any easily I'm sorry, I'm just, like, trying to fiddle with my keyboard. That does not have any, holes that can be easily poked into, easily dismantled. I don't know what I'm trying to say, basically, but, like, if I could easily dismantle your argument, don't even bother coming to me with an argument, just leave. But that's just my opinion on it. Me being middle of the road and me having, like, a neutral stance or having a nuanced stance on a lot of these things does not make me very popular and does not get me a lot of views, but, it is what it is. I'd rather that than sub or what is it? Bot my channel? Apparently that's a thing.
Oh man, I was about
What?
to say, yeah.
Oh,
You
okay,
know,
what?
I was about to say that. Hey, you know, you could always, you can always buy some bots.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know,
Masha's a fucking freak, dude, but I'm sorry, continue.
no, just I'm being slanderous. Actually, it's not slanderous when it's true. I'm just
Well,
being
you're not even
messy.
saying the name, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
Plus, we don't know
Just,
anything for sure, so
look at your DM. Look at your
Okay, I will check my
DM.
DMs. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, the numbers ain't the
I
math
know,
ain't
I know.
mathing.
Alright, Somo, if you could please offer a perspective on this, while I am changing the batteries to my keyboard, I would appreciate it so there's no dead air. Thank you. What's up,
Oh,
Steel Man?
sure. Hey, look, I mean, I'll say it like this, right? I don't believe most people, and look, I do lunch. I do a little weekly, sometimes bi-weekly live stream around lunchtime called Lunchtime with Slow Mo on my channel, and I average maybe like, maybe like between 20 to 30 people on average coming through, and it's like I people who watch that know my stance on this. I do not think that most people really believe the things that they say on the internet. I think the majority of people, the vast majority of the people who have platforms are doing it for they some of them may be passionate about what they do, but the majority of them really have found the ones, especially the ones that are like super successful, have found a niche that works for them and they run with that. I have seen content creators, I've seen content creators upload a 20-minute video, fully edited, and then get backlash from their community and then private or delete the video and pretend like, oh, well, I apologize, I was just angry, and I just uploaded this rant out of anger, and I'm just like, as a content creator, I know how long it takes to do video editing, and for you to have a 20-minute video, your anger ran out about halfway through the video editing. You're just basically full of it. You're basically trying not to anger your community, and I see that so often where people they get right on the edge. I've said we see this in this community as well as in various other aspects of social media where people will get like right on the edge of saying something that people are that their community are not going to like, and then they switch it and change back. Gregor says, "Say the name." I'll say the name on that one. Yeah, the person I just said that used to delete their videos, MBG. And that's no look. If anyone don't come after nobody, Luca or anything. Slow-mo said it. MBG used to do that back when he was a Xbox fanboy before he flip-flopped the PlayStation. That's what he used to do. Oh, the botter. You're gonna have to go on Twitter and figure that out, Grover. It's pretty it's pretty obvious who the botter is. It's this isn't it's pretty obvious, man. But no, I think the majority of the people, and whether it's in this community or not, they say what their community wants to hear, and when they get success for saying certain things, they know not to quote unquote bite the hand that feeds them. They don't want the super chats to slow up. They don't want the views to slow up and the subs, the real subs, the organic subs to slow up. They don't want any of that to happen. So they just continue doing and saying the same things that they know that their community likes. You could have started out as a PlayStation centric channel and then turn into a channel that only talks about Xbox, but only talks about Xbox and hating on Xbox. Why? Because the people that engage with your content, that's what they're there for. They don't want to hear your take on PlayStation. They don't want to hear your impressions of Stellar Blade. They just want to hear you ish all over Xbox. And so like this is the game. And when you see people to get to Luca's point where they said something, they got backlash, and then they're backtracking, trying to get that community back. No, what they said is how they felt. It 1000% is how they felt. But they slipped up. Whoopsie, my community don't like that. Let me go act like I'm still on their side. Yeah, everything you say, I agree with. It's an echo chamber. People love their echo chambers. They create them on purpose. I know content creators in this community that have cultivated echo chambers, and they admit it. They do it on purpose. You'll never hear them catch them publicly saying anything that is not a part of what the echo chamber likes, because they know where their bread is buttered.
Exactly. These people, they are, and the crazy thing is, they're under the assumption that people are there, and the majority of the people are there because they like them. And that's just not the case. It's just, especially if your channel is focused solely 100% one way, you know? And you saw it when certain content creators, like you said, Slow, they switched up, they switched sides, and they got the backlash for it, you know? And yeah, okay, so anyway, we can just move on from that. All right.
Are you doing channel members?
Yeah, I'm pulling them up.
I got probably like 5 minutes left
Alright.
before I gotta go.
No problem. Okay, we'll make this. Okay, so Cat Williams ran a 4.97 for you recently, and at 54 years old is quite the feat. Do you think running away from the Diddy party invites in times past was the motivator? Abso-fucking-lutely. 100%. Diddy's a fucking weirdo, dude. So fucking weird. Smitty wants to talk about the Diddler. Yeah, so Diddy's 2 of his houses got raided. He was not there. We don't know where the fuck he is. But you know, I remember when the news about Cassie came out, and my coworker was like, "Do you think she's just saying this to get money?" I'm like, "Dude, did you read that fucking lawsuit? Like, did you read those transcripts? She is not just saying that shit to get money. That is some what she experienced.
Vile. Yeah,
Vile shit. Disgusting shit." And I was just like, and then the stuff with like Justin Bieber started coming out, like the videos with Justin Bieber of him being a fucking freak towards Justin when Justin was like 14, 15. The fact that Usher lived with him as a teenager. Yeah, no, Diddy's a fucking weirdo, dude. And then all these other videos started coming out of him just displaying very odd and strange behavior. He's a predator. Diddy is a predator. I'm happy Cassie came forward because this meant that all these the thing of it is, if you are a monster, you will get your fucking justice. Not always, but sometimes, even if it takes 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, because Diddy has been in this industry for a very long time, right? Eventually, what is done in the dark has to come to light. So, man.
Yeah. Once I knew this federal case was going to happen when I read the Cassie lawsuit. If you notice, she kept talking about, and this is like when lawyers write this stuff up, they do it on purpose, because like people assume that like, oh, she just wants money. I mean, she did get some money out of this, so that's, you know, that doesn't make up for what he did to her, but she got something out of it. But like, wait, it's a civil lawsuit. It's not a criminal lawsuit. He's not going to jail for it. No, that's coming later, because in her lawsuit, she kept bringing up locations where things happened, locations where he assaulted her, locations sexually or physically, locations where he did criminal activity, where he was going after, like when he was in LA and he heard where Suge Knight was, and he grabbed his gun and ran out to go find Suge Knight. she's bringing up locations: California, Florida, New York, because that makes it a federal case. It's no longer a state case. If everything happened in New York, the state of New York has the option to go after this and that. Once it becomes federal, when your criminal activity has crossed state lines, the feds don't play, and they got a 97% conviction rate. So when they don't play, and they when they start to build their case, them go like raiding his homes, that's not even, they got a case already. They just trying to make it a slam. This is how you get a 97% conviction rate, because it's a slam dunk. You're not getting out of this. Take us to court. We dare you.
Yeah.
We want to embarrass you, and we're going to put you under the jail. So like they already got a case against him. Now they're just adding on to it. They're just building up more and more. Like there was a video of him the night before at some kind of like gala, and he looked real nervous and was tapping his feet. He was looking around like he was like waiting for somebody to just come out with handcuffs and, and handcuff him. Like I'm pretty sure he knew what was coming, but it's a done deal for him. We can't say definitively that he's guilty, right?
No, he's definitely fucking guilty. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know, but he's definitely fucking guilty.
Like we can say allegedly this, allegedly that, but we all know the truth, right? The truth is he did all this stuff, and also like we can't say definitively whether he's definitely going to go, but we know for certain he's going to jail for this. And when you're a black male, you're not going to white prison, where it's almost like a country club. He going to a different kind of prison, and I've read up on these federal prisons. Some of them are, you don't want to be there. Like you do not want to be there.
Before you go, because I didn't play these games when they came out, if you could just offer your perspective on this one right here from Jay Lorenzo, saying, did you see Alex's tweet about there being a time in games where race, sexuality, ethnicity didn't matter, and the game he used to prove his point was Halo 3? I don't know about y'all, but Halo 3 and COD 4 came out within 2 months into 2007 and was 14-year-old me's introduction to online gaming and unprovoked racism and homophobia.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't agree with. I didn't see Alex's tweet, but if this is what he's saying, like, I mean, is he talking about the developers and what they put in the game, or is he talking about just the game overall?
About the developers and what they put in the game, because the game overall, no.
Oh my gosh! Like back then, see, like you play a game now, right? And even now with Call of Duty, you may hear people in the lobby ahead of time, but then when the game starts, you're only hearing your team. But back then, what you heard in the lobby was what you heard in the game, period. Like it was just all open. And as soon as you get in the lobby, it's inward, stupid N-word, F-word, like you you haven't even said a word yet, you know what I'm saying? And when they hear you speaking, they know you black. Oh, look at this monkey. Like it was so racist. And then you're playing the game and they're toxic after that. So you're killing them, they're calling you every word under the sun. They're killing you, they're calling you no, like yeah. I didn't realize how racist people were until I started playing. For me, it was a little bit earlier, because back when we were playing
OG Halo.
Yeah, OG Halo on XConnect, which wasn't even officially like Xbox Live. Xbox Live wasn't even a thing yet. I heard that stuff then. So when Halo 2 came out, I already knew what to expect. I already knew it was going to be racist left and right. And they felt free to do it because is who they were. And they knew that, like, well, they thought at that time, because you could always find people, but like they thought at that time there was no repercussions for their actions. For most of them, it wasn't. So yeah.
No, I will say that point in time was I have never met such creative insults. Like these people, they know, like they had a million different ways to use the N-word in different scenarios, sentences. Like I heard some of the most creative shit. Like people were coming up with entire stories, just roasting each other in the lobbies. Naturally, you had to kill yourself and all that kind of thing. You had all that in there. general stuff, but like the racism, yo, it didn't matter what race you were. I'll tell you now, even being white, yo, you had a whole bunch of like I've seen some creative shit in those lobbies, and it doesn't matter what race you are. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. Like they have a shit ton of insults, and they dump them throughout the entire game. They don't stop even after the
Nope.
game lobby.
Nope.
Even if they lose, the insults still. As soon as you get back to the lobby in Call of Duty, as soon as this millisecond you get back in there, all of a sudden you hear N word, N word, N word, die N word, did this, that, and it doesn't stop until the next game starts. And it was the most hilarious thing ever. To me anyway, because I was a bit older, so of course, I wasn't 14 when I was playing these games. So, I understood the thing and I participated. None of the racist stuff, but I did make
I'm glad you clarified.
Wait, excuse me? You what?
I clarified. I clarified.
I mean, I was already leaning that when you was like, it was hilarious, and I was like, oh, okay,
No.
the racist stuff was hilarious. Then you just said I participate. I was like, oh well,
No,
I understand the
clarified.
Power World fascination now. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
no,
messing with you, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. But no, I mean some creative insults, mate. Like you generally get into a heated argument, and then you end up telling them to kill themselves or jump off a bridge, or your mother should have swallowed you, or something like that. The usual
Yeah,
things.
everybody's mom is. You learned a lot about your mother
Oh,
back in those
I
days.
remember when there was an old video of BG wishing cancer on somebody. Like,
BG, shout out
oh
to
my
BG.
god,
That man had some rants. Good grief! Like I've seen some stuff. I was like, dang, BG was angry. Yeah, that and what was the other thing I was about to bring up? Oh, just like some of the insults, you could definitely tell like where people lived based upon the kind of insults they had. Like the first time, well, not the first time, I had heard this term, this slur for black people from the South before, but when I heard it again in Halo, I was like, oh. So are you from like Mississippi? Like the stuff would just like roll off like people would say a whole bunch of blah 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 porch monkey. I'm like, oh, okay. So you from like what, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Georgia? You somewhere in the area, right? Yeah, I'm from Alabama. All right, yeah, I kind of figured, Like it's like you just don't care.
it's always interesting to me whenever, like I said, I was watching The Sopranos and they use like a racist term I have never fucking heard of before. I had to Google it. I was like, what the hell is that, dude? Like, it's so insane to me, the amount of just the amount of insults that fucking exist that have fallen out of fashion. But so when you do hear it, you're like, what is that? I have never heard it described like that. And then, okay, one more thing before you go. Hey, Lizzo's quitting the music industry.
Oh, good, because I think her music stinks.
All right. So Ronald Luco says, what are your thoughts on Lizzo quitting? Was it fat phobia? No. Or was it them allegations? My opinion is that her songs really wasn't that good. She had a couple of hits. She kind of just became a gimmick. There are people who were out of pocket with the name calling, but she wanted the attention, which I agree. She did want the attention. She thought it was good for her brand. At the end, the chickens come home to roost. I don't give a fuck that Lizzo is quitting. Once those allegations came out, I was like, oh no.
I also think the way she treated her people isn't like, that's not exclusive to Lizzo. I think the majority of those people in the entertainment circus probably treat their people just as bad. Mm-hmm. But it's the fact that she had built this image of someone who was like, oh, I'm positivity. So for. Yeah. And then turn out that you are everything that you're not. Like now that was your base that was behind you. And now your base finds out you a fraud. So now, yeah, I think she's quitting because she's seen them numbers, and the calls for her to come appear and perform here and there ain't what it used to be. And it's almost like when I know this is a sports analogy, Luca, but everyone else will get it. It's when the athlete decides to retire, and it's like he's not retiring because he wants to. He retiring because ain't nobody signing him. He's a free agent. His agent not getting no calls. It's time to wrap it up. is you're done here. So they retire when they know for certain, like they're not getting any more work, and I don't think she's getting any more work, honestly. Which is
I mean, she just
yeah.
performed at something Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, and
Oh, okay.
Obama were at. But I
Hmm.
definitely think that she's listen. You can't build your brand on being fat positive and loving being fat and like all that shit, and then have allegations come out that your crew is fat phobic, dude. Like you can't do shit like that. Like it just does not work. So no, it was not fat phobia that killed her image. If anything, that was working for her. It's as soon as those allegations came out. If there's one thing that particular community will do, they will fucking drop you expeditiously as soon as them allegations come out, or if they even get a hint that you're not being fat positive, baby. Like they will fucking get rid of you. So good, yeah. I'm not even gonna say good luck to her. I don't care. And I've not liked Lizzo ever since she was shaking her ass at like a public park. She had her ass all out at like a fucking game, and
Yeah.
people are like, "It's because she's fat." It's because I'm like, no, dude. I'm not trying to see your
No, nobody
fucking
ought to see
ass
that in
in
public,
public,
yo.
especially in places where kids are at, dude. Like, no one wants
Exactly.
to
It's
see that shit.
families. There's people bringing their kids to that game. Ain't nobody trying to see your butt cheeks. Like,
Yeah.
yo, it's completely immoral. Period. Like yeah, I'm that old guy on the moral seat. That's some immoral, disgusting BS. Like you should be ashamed of yourself doing that at a Lakers game. Ain't nobody trying to see. Well, I don't care if you look like Lizzo. I wouldn't
Meg Thee
mind
Stallion.
looking at making good doing that or Meg the Stallion, but looking at it and seeing it, but I'm still like, you shouldn't be doing that, Meg
And
the Stallion, at a game where there's little
at a
kids
game where
there.
there's
Like,
kids,
come on.
like, there's a time and I'll give an example of a chick who does not look bad, but I find her personally reprehensible and disgusting. Suki Hana. Ever since I found out that she either was saying some shit or doing some shit with like young boys, I was like, no, she's disgusting, and she's still getting work, which makes me roll my eyes, right? Like Jesus. But still, Suki Hana has she's got a good body and her face is
I have
fine,
no
right?
idea who this is. Who is this?
And she's a rapper, right? And she's like a really
Okay.
dirty sexual rapper, right? If she was at a fucking game, naked, half naked, with her ass out, I would be on her ass about it too. I would be like, "What are you doing?" There's a time and place for that kind of outfit. I just like, "Oh, moral police, outfit police, I'm over here monitoring ankles, you know what I'm saying?" But, like, no, I just feel
I
like
just googled
huh?
her. This ain't my vibe. No. I'm looking at who Suki Hana is. She look like a hood booger
Yeah,
to me.
she's gross, dude. She's
Um.
she's she's really
Yeah.
disgusting in my opinion. Just because of those allegations about, like, her and young boys, I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm good on that?"
What? Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm completely out of touch.
I mean, she's not really super well known, so it doesn't matter. She did a
Okay.
video of Sexy Red, which I will say this, I think that we as a generation are completely out of touch with what Gen Z wants, because the fact that Sexy Red is so popular makes 0 sense to me. I just don't get it. I don't get it personally. I feel like a fucking boomer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get this shit, man. So, all right. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Jay. Okay, last topic. Selma, you can go if you need to now, but John
Yeah.
John the
I'm
Don. Go ahead.
right. Just gonna say, great show as usual.
Yep.
Play your games, have a good time. Don't be a fraud. Don't box your views. All right, I'm out. Peace.
All right, bye. All right, so John the Don, my guest says, is there still a chance for a second video game industry crash to occur? Or is the industry too large in budget and scopes of games to fail? I've heard people say that they either hope for or anticipate a crash in the video game market to balance out the trends of big budget AAA games and battle royale clones and battle pass infested games, and allow smaller games to get some spotlight. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I do think we're on our way for a crash. Like the amount of money they are spending on these games and them not getting their return on investment. I don't know, dude. I think that shit's looking a little spooky. I
Hey,
think that
Luca.
go ahead. Mhm.
Oh, remember it wasn't last episode, the episode before. I said on Spawnwave that developer lady was on there, and she said it's heading for a crash. And I said that, and a lot of people disagreed with me. And it's like it's an inevitability because the budgets are getting so high that it's just going to be what it is because eventually the games will hit 400 million and this comes back to the day and date on PC. You either have to go full multi-platform, or you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and then it's going to crash because you need to recoup this money. Now, when the bills keep going up and up and up, how do you recoup it? Because your own platform won't recoup the bills. There is no way for a 500 million game to make back what it makes right now. If you release it on PlayStation, 20 million people buy it. It's not making the math ain't mathing, as they say. So it's yeah, it's gonna crash if all the developers don't drop the budgets or they just keep going the way they're going, and then in 5 years it just crashes and they reset. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely fucking missing something as to I'm like, I don't know why they're spending all this money. I'm missing something. But Gregor says all the layoffs will prevent a crash. Maybe, but they can't keep firing people, can they? They definitely can. They definitely fucking can. They definitely can. All right. Thank you guys so much for submitting topics. If you want to submit topics for the show, just become a member of the show in order to submit topics. A shout out to Kenneth, Miko, Phil, Iman, Gregor, Cassie, John the Don, Michael, Brian, Bladex, Lionel, Fonz, Meat Puppet, FTW, Yobi, King Metrotron, Outlaw, Texas Lean, Tristan, Corey, and Bandy. Imar, Damien, Dolo, Tevin, Ronald, Dealer, MJ, Duck, Scrotum, Laura Drenza, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, Subnegro, Jazzy, Dom, Duckman, Sycamore, Zion, Brisky, Light Strife, Papitio, Nautical Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal. Shout out to Singer and Slomo for being here tonight. Singer, go ahead. You can go ahead and go.
Yeah. It's great show, great chat, great panel as always, and I'll see you all later. And also on the point of the old Halo and Call of Duty lobbies, it's been 12 years and League of Legends still hasn't implemented a chat feature. I wonder why that is, because it's still alive and well in League of Legends. Trust me, they'll tell you to jump off a cliff and call you the N-word.
I think they'd be even more creative with it, because let me tell you something. I'm not going to lie. KYS, that was kind of my go-to for a very long time. And it's not just in gaming, like in general. But anyway, what's up, Audible? Okay, let's go ahead and fucking get out of here. All right. Like, guys, thank you so much for coming through and listening to the show. Again, I may not have a lot of people, but that's because I'm too middle of the fucking road. Okay. And it's also because I am too inconsistent with my content. I understand that, right? But at least I'm not allegedly botting my channel like some people allegedly are. I'll never really understand doing. Hello?
I forgot to ask you what you thought about the latest episode of Solo Leveling.
Oh, I gotta watch it. That's what I'm about to do, like right now. So I will hit you up.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk about it though. So I'll hit you up and I'll let you know like when I watch it, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hey, Blaze. I know your show's coming on soon, so I will go ahead and get out of here. But yeah, no, listen, at least but yeah, botting your channel, I'll never really understand it, because for me, it's like even if I only have a couple people in the chat, it's better than not like just having like fake people, I guess. I find it strange. I know it's like a numbers thing, and I guess you look better if you have more subs, but I don't know. I guess I'll never really understand doing something like that. But it is what it is. It's whatever. And it's all alleged, right? So, all right, bye. Oh no, that's fair, Saber. Because let me tell you something. Waiting for fucking Solo Leveling to be done was brutal, dude. Like Jesus, season 2. Like, yes, give the animators a break. Obviously, I know the voice actor was sick as well, the one who plays Jinwoo. But like, yeah, I need season 2 expeditiously. But whatever is best for the health of the animators, of course. So I can wait. It's not that big of a deal. So, all right, bye guys. Love you guys. Catch you later. Peace. Oh, and thank you so much for everyone who listened to the show. Thank you to everyone who listens later. Thank you to everyone who leaves comments. Thank you to my channel members. And thank you so much to the Super Chat support tonight, especially Phase 23 BKNY. I appreciate it. You paid for Stellar Blade, man. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone else who left Super Chats. I really do appreciate you guys. Shout out to the Yams. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, you just got off JJK and need a good new anime to watch? Go ahead and watch Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling on Crunchyroll, okay? Solo Leveling. Go ahead and watch that. All right, peace.